Greetings, everyone. This is Jeff Wilkerson, Professor of Physics at Luther College, bringing you the next of our What to Look For in the Night Sky series. We're talking about the week of April 17th, 2023, this time around. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the planets moving against the background stars, prograde motion. The typical motion would be to the east against the background stars. If we catch up and pass Mars, for example, it will look for a while like it's moving backwards as we're passing it and move west against the background stars. The planets, by and large, right now are in prograde motion, moving easterly. We took some time a couple weeks ago to look at that. We're going to revisit that and think about a couple other ideas here this week. And we're going to start in the morning sky on the 17th, early in the week. So what I've drawn right here doesn't have to be just on the 17th for some of this, but with the moon in there, I've drawn this in the morning of the 17th, early morning. So what's happened now on the early morning of the 17th, we talked about Saturn a couple weeks ago. Saturn's getting easier and easier to see in the glow of the sun as it rises before sunrise here. So we're able to see, basically that's from us orbiting. What's happening there is we orbit the sun. We see the sun move at different positions against the background stars. So we see the sun also moving against the background stars, and it's moving enough away from Saturn right now that Saturn's up probably an hour and 45 minutes, I'm going to say, before sunrise. So Saturn's bright enough, you should be able to start to pick it out of the glow of the morning sun. Now, if you look to the west of Saturn, you'll see two stars out here in Capricornus, Deneb al-Ghaedi and Nashira. Deneb al-Ghaedi, we talk about Deneb, the Arabic word tail, and al, Arabic word the, Ghaedi, the goat. So this is tail of the goat that we're seeing right here. Those of you who are long-time viewers of this series of What to Look For in the Night Sky, here's how I imagine the world. Sort of two or three large groups of people in the world. One, people who are longtime viewers of this series. Two, people who wish they'd been longtime viewers of the series. And three, people who've yet to discover this series and can't either wish to have been longtime viewers or have been longtime viewers. So that's my imagination of how the world works. You're welcome to your own. But in any event, if you've watched over the last couple of years, we've talked about Saturn dancing around these two stars, Nashira and Deneb al-Ghaedi, and how it's been near Deneb al-Ghaedi. What we see now in this apparition, in this appearance of Saturn in the morning sky, is it's separated from the tail of the goat by quite a bit, and it's moving into Aquarius. And so Saturn is tracking this way, good prograde motion. So it's tracking to the east against the background stars. And so go out, you try to find Saturn in the glow of the morning sun. Now the moon will be right here. So this distance is 10 degrees maybe, and it's 20 degrees roughly over the moon. Remember, a fist, 10 degrees, 20 degrees, something like that out at arm's length. And so Saturn has separated from Deneb al-Ghaedi by 10 degrees or so. The moon will be off to the east on the morning of the 17th, and it'll be about 9% full. So by no means an impossible moon to see, but also not the easiest moon in the world to see. A very slender crescent, worth the effort to try to see it, but you got to time it just right. If you wait too long, the glow of the sun's going to wash it out. If you're there too early, it's not up above the horizon enough to see. And so you got to be watching sunrise there and paying attention, which is part of what this is all about. If you're watching and paying attention to the sky, it's great. The world's just that much better. So in any event, on the morning of the 17th, so that's our first morning that we're looking at right here. The moon will be right there. We'll help you find Saturn. But Saturn will be the brightest object in this region of the sky, so other than the moon, but the brightest object in this region of the sky. So you should be able to find Saturn right there. Now, Saturn holds up well to the glow of the sunrise. Sigma Auarii does not hold up so well to the glow of the sunrise because it's only 4.8 magnitude, which means you can see it under good dark skies, but it's going to be hard. But if you have binoculars, you might be able to pull it out of the glow of the sun right now. And that's only about, so Deneb al-Ghaedi and Nashira are separated. They're far enough away from the sun, you should be able to see those. And they're separated by, I don't know, 1.5 degrees or so. And that's about what separates Saturn and Sigma Auarii, is about 1.5 degrees. So, you know, a finger width or two is what you see right there. And this is an interesting object to start studying, because over the coming weeks, within 2 weeks from now, so even if you can't see Sigma Auarii right now, keep trying, keep observing. Saturn is moving to the east, and watch Saturn close that gap down over the next few weeks. And over the whole summer, we're going to watch Saturn in this region, just like we watched Saturn near Mebsuta over the last couple of years. We're going to watch it now in this region as it moves to the east of Sigma Auarii. So something to pay attention to over the next few months. Get a real sense for the flow of planets moving. Saturn is one of the slower movers. It's slower than Jupiter or Mars, moving against the background stars, and Venus for sure. And so, you know, this is something to watch for subtle motion against the background stars, and to check this out. So let's start the week with that. If you don't make it in the start of the week, it's cloudy, whatever, you know. Later in the week, it's still worth getting out, finding Saturn, and seeing where it is relative to Sigma Auarii, checking on it every few days. Every time you get a chance, check on its progress as it progrades in the direction of Sigma Auarii and then past it. Now, let's move forward toward the end of the week. The 21st to the 22nd. We're really talking about Saturday morning. We're talking about Saturday the 22nd right here. The morning, I don't know what we're talking about here. So we're talking about just the 22nd here is what we're doing. And we're looking at Venus in the evening sky. So in the evening sky of the 22nd, the moon will have popped around and will be 9% full roughly again. In the evening sky, will be about 7 degrees west of Venus. And so this is great. This is a chance to start the week seeing a very slender, one of the slenderest crescent moons that you can see in the morning sky, and ending the week seeing that slender crescent in the evening sky. And then a day later, it will have moved from about 7 degrees west to about 5 degrees east. It'll be about 15% full. A much thicker crescent and much easier to see as the moon slides past Venus this direction. Now, what you want to do here, what you want to think about as you look at the moon filling out here, is to say, okay, we watch this slide past. For me, what I put on the board is the timing for me on the 22nd and the 23rd at the end of the week when we can see the moon filling out and moving past Venus. If you live in another part of the world, if you live half a world away from me around on the other side, you're going to see the moon very close to Venus at night some point in there. It's not going to happen for me. During the daytime is when it will slide past Venus here in the middle of North America. I'm going to miss the moon sliding past Venus. But if you're over on the other side of the world in Africa or in Asia or in Europe, perhaps, you have a chance to watch the moon be pretty close to Venus as it slides by, and I wish you well. I wish you luck with that if you get that chance. Meanwhile, Mars is still in prograde motion in Gemini, and we talked a couple weeks ago about it approaching the star Mebsuta. Think of Gemini as Castor and Pollux, the two bright stars, and then strands of stars down, and the strands of stars down, Mebsuta is one of those. It starts the week about 1.5 degrees to the east of Mebsuta, and it ends the week about 5 degrees to the east of Mebsuta. This is in the evening sky as well. So Mars, you got Venus, and then Mars is the bright orange-red object that's on further around like this. You got Castor and Pollux shining above there. So Mars, by the end of the week, will have moved to 5 degrees, and it's sort of in the middle of those strands of stars. If we think about Castor and Pollux and strands of stars down this direction, Mars is tracking through like that. And it's about 5 degrees from Mebsuta at the end of the week, and it's moved all the way over to the other side. It's only about 4 degrees from Wasat on the other side over here in Gemini. So watch that tracking to the east of Mars, and pay attention to Mars and pay attention to the stars of Gemini there. And I hope you have clear skies. Should be some fun stuff to look at. As always, everyone, thanks for watching, and we'll have something new for you next week.